Welcome to the conversation part of the Upper Bowl podcast. We have from Fox Sports 1, Big Ten Network, ESPN Plus. He does a lot of play-by-play work for either college soccer, MLS, college. So maybe, hopefully, one day college football. He does some college basketball as well. We saw him. He called a game at Maryland University's alma mater. I'm glad to say that. He did play-by-play for Inter Miami for when it was on 560 WQAM. He does the specialty program or the magazine show for Inter Miami. It's on YouTube every week, so check that out. I'd like to welcome back to the pod my favorite New Yorker, I like to say, who's from New Jersey anyways, that we always blend in together. Joe Malfa, how are we doing, by the way? Welcome back to the pod.
I'm doing well, Trevor, man. Good to chat with you again. It's been a little while. As you're running down that list, I see why it's been a while since we've caught up, man. I'm too busy. Lately.
Dude, I will say this. Busy is good. Very
good.
This
is true.
When I get to see you, like when I'm watching an MLS game on Fox Sports, like, oh, I know that guy. My buddy's like, my mom's like, who's calling the game? The MLS game. She was like watching the random Sunday MLS game. I was like, oh, that's my buddy Joe Malfa.
I was like, I will say, like, that is as much as I hate any conversation being about me, and like even I'm uncomfortable as you're giving me that intro. It's like, oh, okay, stop talking about me. That is the one thing that I enjoy is like whenever somebody quote unquote finds me out in the wild, like I'll get a text, somebody that I hadn't heard from like in a year and a half, and they were at a bar with friends and they clicked a picture because I was on SEC Network basketball. It's like, oh, hey, look, saw you like at a bar. Like just whenever I turn up in random places like that, that's always a fun little thing.
That's awesome. How much fun was it doing college basketball this year? I'll say.
Great. Yeah, great. I mean, soccer is my like first true love. It's what I played growing up in an Italian household. Like it's always on in the background, whether it was Serie A games or whatever.
Yeah.
Always on TV. And so that is and always will be home base and first love. But like growing up, I love all sports. You know this. We're going to touch on a lot of things as we go through here. But like college basketball's got a special place in my heart. Just being at Maryland when I was there, team was great, environment's great, and just college basketball as a whole is just awesome, man. Like comparing it to the NBA, you can't because yes, the NBA basketball is 10 times better. But like there's something as stupid as this sounds, there's something special about like some idiot who's not good enough missing the front end of a 1-on-1, and then all of a sudden chaos ensuing from there while you got 20,000 drunk kids just screaming at the top of their lungs. Like it's great. It's that you can't match that environment. So it was fun to be in some of those environments this year and have that action.
What's been, besides Maryland, what's been your favorite so far you've been to?
Ooh, this year was at Maryland, was at Rutgers, was in Gainesville, was just at Ole Miss, and was at Florida State. I will say Rutgers brought it. I hadn't been there yet for a game of that caliber. It was the first game of the season when Ace Bailey made his debut.
Okay.
Sorry, not their first game of the season, his first game of the season. So it was like a sold-out crowd, tight arena in there, so like it reverberates. That was...
That is awesome. I always say the Northeast crowd always brings for college basketball. Like down here, it depends what college you're at, really. Like,
right.
Like Florida State is just a football school, and maybe baseball. Like basketball's like, oh, who cares? We have it anyways. But that's when you look at like it depends where you're at. Like Ole Miss, I think it was like that's a football school. Maybe they're good with basketball with Marshall Henderson at least.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where everyone's got their unique thing too. Like hearing the war chant at FSU, like that was cool in person. Doing the seeing people do the chomp in Gainesville, that was awesome. Like they all have their little unique tradition, and it makes for a good time.
Definitely, for sure. Is there a difference in style when you see you in the Big Ten basketball and SEC basketball? Would you say?
Yes and no, and like even just aside from the games that I've done this year, just watching. At the end of the day, like. The game is becoming sort of uniform enough where if you asked me 10 years ago, like in the Big Ten, you got to have a big or two bigs and you're playing a lot of slow ball down low and tight defense. Like now it's more because of the transfer portal and stuff. You got people changing teams all the time. Not that I think it's a bad thing. I think it's fantastic. But because you have that, I think coaches and teams are starting to play more of like a ubiquitous style where anybody can come in and adapt on the fly because you don't have that 4-year guy anymore that you can grow in the program. Those do still exist, but they're rarer now. Even a guy like Matt Painter at Purdue, like for the most part, you knew what you were getting out of Purdue teams in the mid-late 2010s. You were going to have a massive big, a bunch of shooters around them, and they're going to play from inside out. And now it's like, they still have those elements, but other schools like that now in the Big Ten that were like that have also shifted themselves. SEC is more run and gun. I'll give them that, especially a team like Bama setting that tempo. But there's also teams in the SEC that kind of play just that kind of more uniform style. So I would say like it's faster in the SEC. There are still more teams who do slow it down in the Big Ten, but by and large, like it's become more uniform across the board just because of the transfer portal and guys bouncing around.
Definitely, for sure. Are you bummed that the ACC has been super down these past couple of years in
You know,
basketball?
I have been a little bit, and I'm actually kind of a fan of this talk that's been going on about this potential Big East ACC merger.
I am for it. I am for
It
it.
makes all the sense in the world, man. Like you don't have to necessarily do it. Again, I wouldn't know how they would unravel it for all sports because Big East doesn't really like have legit football at that level. Like they're not
UConn,
playing
the only
there.
one that has is UConn, but the only
Yeah,
problem is I sell this to everyone. UConn like blackballed Boston College anyways in the mid
yeah.
2000s.
It wouldn't maybe necessarily be all sports, but like for me that I do soccer, Big East has a bunch of great soccer teams between
Agree.
Creighton and Georgetown and St. John's. They'd be awesome in the ACC, which is already the best conference in college soccer. So if you can make it happen, a lot of those other sports would benefit too, but mainly basketball. Like that would be a mega conference in basketball. It would you'd have to change up the scheduling and stuff because you'd have so many teams. But like, think of the actual good teams in the SEC. Yeah, it's a down year for UNC. Fine, I'll give them that. But like,
Yeah.
you're talking Duke, UNC, those teams. Now you're going to throw St. John's with Patino in the mix, UConn in the like that. That would be a terrific ordeal. I hope that happens.
I'm when you said that, I was like, I'm kind of cool now when to see you bring West Virginia back and we have the old Big East
Yeah.
together. I like to say that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Bring them back. Make them. I know it'll ruin the academic standard right now, but there's so many WVU alumni would love to be back in the ACC. Like if it was like close to the Big East and ACC together, let's put it together.
And even like Maryland had a great rivalry with West Virginia too, going back. So like, you know, you get some fun like crossover matchups then like that too, where you know that they used to have the Big Ten ACC challenge. This year it became SEC ACC, but like you start having some of those like fun early season matchups. You can have a lot more of those fun crossovers too. So I think it just works out because like the bottom of the Big East not great, the bottom of the ACC not great, but you put it all together and like now you're gonna have some more kind of just great competitive balance kind of throughout. And somebody even threw out the idea I saw on Twitter. It was probably like a half-hearted kind of joke. Me that I'm in my niche Twitter of like soccer fans and basketball fans.
Yeah.
Someone said, how about we for the first time ever institute promotion relegation in this uniform Big East ACC, and like you could have an upper and a lower, and maybe the lower has one auto bid. And the top three teams ascend to the upper. So like you can have the example he used, like imagine like a DePaul Cal game in late March to see who, or early March to see who could go up into the upper conference. Like you could get fun with it. So it's, you know, anything is possible in this day and age, right? Like we've seen so much change that has benefited the sport. Like who knows? We'll see. We'll see. We'll have this conversation a year from now. Maybe we're talking a different game too.
It would honestly be a great TV deal when you look at it because
that's the complex part because they said they had to do some unraveling. I know Big East off the top of my head right now, like they're mainly on Fox as a property, ACC's with ESPN. And I think every now and then they have a Peacock game. If I'm not mistaken.
They're never on Peacock.
Never Peacock. Okay, that's
it's usually ESPN Plus usually or CW usually. So
CW, that's what. Sorry, CW. So like you start now lobbing that out there, and it'd be a great TV package for these different companies. So there's a lot of money to be thrown at it. It'd be fun.
All right, how many Duke games will be Duke UConn games or Duke St. Johnny games will be selling out the MSG or something?
Yeah,
that'll be crazy. Anyways.
We see some of those games selling out already when they do those MSG classics early in the year.
Yeah,
a Duke or something going there. So it's a fun possibility thing to think about, but it's one of those things that I kind of do hope happens and doesn't just get thrown out there and never followed up on.
For real, we're gonna pin it on this day that we're recording this on the February the 26th. If it does happen, you're the first one to break it anyway. So I think it'll be cool as hell because then you bring back the old rivalry of Pitt and West Virginia. If you can get West Virginia in the ACC. Bring it back. You're good to go. And all you need is Jamie Dixon head coaching the Pitt Panthers again. That's why. So let's talk about the stuff that we really want to talk about. I know the MLSG season just got started. What game did you call last week? And what was your thoughts so far on the season? As I like to say, Apple TV put their thing on cable now, which is great for me. So I don't have to go through all the apps now anymore on DirecTV.
Yeah, I had this past week for Fox. I had LAFC Minnesota. It turned out to be the season opener. That was not by design. The season opener was originally supposed to be Inter Miami against NYCFC. I think that was scheduled for 2 p.m. on Saturday. And then after Inter Miami had that postponement in the midweek, in Champions Cup because of the cold weather in Kansas City. They requested an evening kick just to give them an extra, I guess, 5 hours there. It doesn't seem like much, but like the preparation for an early Saturday game versus a nighttime game, some of the treatment, some of the final preparations, like you do that Saturday during the day. So anyway, that got pushed later in the night. So we ended up having the season opener on Fox, which was a lot of fun. LAFC took it 1-0 over Minnesota. Jeremy Ebobisse scored the winning goal, and it was a fun, historic moment. Just first goal of season 30, so it was great to be a part of that. Fun game. It finished with only one goal that came late, but like those two teams just run and gun the whole time, and there were, I think, like almost 30 total combined shots in the game, even though there was just a one goal. So just back and forth track meet at times. And this weekend as well, I'm on Charlotte Atlanta, and that's another two teams that can go back and forth on each other. Depending on who's available health-wise, but should be a good game, rivalry game. But the first week, to the other part of your question, like some takeaways from that first week, just like it's the talent level is so much better now.
Yes.
There were so many like record-breaking signings in the offseason. A name you maybe don't know yet, but you will hear. Emmanuel Latte-Lot in Atlanta scored twice last week, set the record for a 20 million plus transfer into MLS. Kevin Denke, he went to Cincinnati. He originally in the offseason set the transfer record at 16 million, and then it was broken by the Atlanta guy a few weeks later. He scored in Champions Cup in the midweek, and he scored on the weekend. So much talent. Chucky Lozano now in San Diego. Brendan Vasquez coming back to MLS now in Austin. Like the list goes on. There's so many top guys who are $10+ million transfers into the league. Wilfred Zaha coming over from the Premier League to Charlotte, $8 million transfer. That was my biggest takeaway. There's so much talent. It's no longer just from the days when I was a kid and a Red Bull season ticket holder. Yeah. My dad was. I went to the games with him. I didn't have the money in the account.
Yeah, we did.
All right. But like it was all right. Rafael Marquez came late in his career. Thierry Henry came late in his career, as class as he still was. It's not that retirement league anymore. Like there are young, terrific players being pumped into the league. It was the highest goal scoring opening week of the season ever. That was helped in part by it having 15 games instead of 14 games for the first time, sure, but it was a high scoring week. It was a lot of fun. And I'm really excited for the season as a whole. Like, and that's not even just me shilling for the league, being a part of the broadcast. Like genuinely for somebody who's been a part of it and gone to games since I was a kid, going back to, that's 20 years ago now. Metro like my first time that I was at the Metro Star games, I was there for season 10 in the stands. Now I'm here for season 30 calling it. Which makes me sound old, even though I'm 27. But that's to see what it was, to know what it was then, to see what it is now. It's night and day. To have this coming into a World Cup year, then next year, the league's in a good spot.
Definitely. Like for me, I went to Columbus Crew games when I was in college because those were the cheapest tickets, and you just like go get beers. It's like maybe $5 or $10 beer night. I was like, let's go party and stuff.
Yeah, and now good luck. I mean, they sell out. They're great in their new stadium, and they've been the standard bearers of the league the last couple of years, all the titles that they've won in Leagues Cup and MLS Cup. So now it's a good thing that it's tougher to get into some of these places now too, because they've been so great.
Yeah, I was going to the old stadium, which people forget about, Crew Stadium. That was literally like 15 minutes from my apartment back in the day in Westerville. So I was like, I might as well go check out a Crew game. Of like, who's playing? I'm like, cool. Like, it's like the Galaxy. I'm like, I'm down for that. It was cool. Right. It's season 30. What's been your biggest thing you've seen? Because I are they doing anything special? Are they bringing back the throwback unis from back in the day? I want that, honestly.
There are some clubs who Kansas City, shout out to them. They brought out like as an alternate last year, like a throwback, and same thing with the Galaxy. And some of these teams started like doing retros, which is nice. They've kind of kept some plans tight-lipped, like the ball itself. If you go back and look at the original ball versus this year's ball, the ball is supposed to look the same or very similar. I would imagine a lot of teams kind of throughout the year, especially the originals, the Galaxies, the Rapids, teams like that. The originals will probably have more celebrations, but it's more just a celebration for the league itself, just bigger picture. Like on social media, they've been throwing it back to some of the best moments, things like that. It's more social engagement. And I guess, again, as the year goes along, a certain like key dates pop up. I'm sure they'll celebrate them. But it was more just, 30th season, commemorative patches, things like that. And it's great to talk about the state of the league now at this juncture, 30 seasons later, rather 29 years, 30 seasons. And just see again the influx of talent to kind of commemorate this season.
Definitely, for sure. So since this year, I'm no longer doing Inter Miami games where you work at. Trevor, I have decided like I'm gonna try to find a team to root for, and I don't want to do it for the bandwagon. Like I'm gonna go Inter Miami since I live down here. So here's my the three choices. the Rapids, FC Dallas. I feel like those two are just kind of wild cards
Okay.
because no one roots for them, and I feel like they'll be kind of cool anyways. And maybe I would say Chicago Fire, but their odds are horrendous this year, so I'm not going by that anyways. I just don't. I'm trying to go by that, or just maybe like Minnesota United. That seems kind of cool anyways.
Okay, I'll say if those are your four, I'll lump Chicago in there. I'll give you those four options. I will say there's something good about all those teams.
Mm-hmm.
FC Dallas has the most of those. Well,
Is
Chicago,
it like
I guess.
they were one of the original ones, right?
Technically, no, because they
Okay.
were the old Dallas Burn and then eventually FC Dallas. But Chicago, I guess, has the most history. Original team. They've won Open Cups. They've had a good history. FC Dallas has a lot of winning history since the like 2010 era. Rapids have been up and down throughout their time in the league, and Minnesota's new. They all have talent. They all have, I would say, an arrow pointing up this year. Even though, like you said, Chicago's odds aren't great, but with Bearholter in there, like they've made some signings of their own. They're kind of setting the foundation. That's a good question. All right, FC Dallas. No disrespect to them, they're the one that I would cast aside just because I think they have the most uncertainty going forward in terms of what their identity is and who their star that they're going to kind of hang their hat on is. So we'll put them to the side. The Rapids have, I think, the most fun identity. Chris Armas is a fiery head coach. Like you being a hockey guy too, I would say he's like the Patrick Waugh of MLS head coaches, where like he's got that bulldog mentality and don't mess with him. And his team buys into that. They just made the playoffs last year after being worse in the league the year before that. So they're a fun one. You can't go wrong with them. They maybe lack that star that you can hang your hat on and really enjoy. I will push you to Minnesota. They were the last team you mentioned. If you're really just taking suggestions here for who your team should be, Eric Ramsey's a fantastic coach. Came from Manchester United as one of their assistants. In hindsight, maybe Man United should have promoted him and be a better spot than where they are right now. But he's a great coach. He's a great guy. They just signed Kelvin Yeboah last summer from Genoa. He had gone on loan to Belgium and France and Germany. They bought him from the Italian league, and he came in and he scored, I think, 9 goals down the stretch last year, including the playoffs. And he's in his mid-20s, young player, fantastic, fun player to watch. And Minnesota, of those 4 teams, I would say by far actually has the best home stadium environment where like if you can get out to a game that the supporters sing Wonderwall, like it's awesome. Like they have the best game day atmosphere of those 4 teams. And again, less of a knock on the other 3, more of a praise of Minnesota. And they have, I think, the most young talent, best head coach. That if you're picking one of those 4, go Minnesota.
I have driven by the FC Dallas Park when I was in Dallas a couple back in I think it was the summertime or something with my ex-girlfriend then. But I think it was kind of cool anyway. So I was like, that's kind of cool.
They're again, all 4 of those have their pros. If you're trying to jump on and laugh to somebody, and maybe I'm just recency biased because I just had Minnesota this week and got the chance to talk to their head coach this week. But like they're a great spot to be. And they were a playoff team last year. They joined the league 2017. They've pretty much been in the playoffs every year, so they have good consistency too. They're a good wagon to hit yourself to.
Okay, definitely for sure. Who's been your favorite? Who's the most intriguing story this year? Is it Inter Miami since they pretty much flamed out after the first round?
Yeah, I mean they're a big one. Like, all right, Javier Mascherano taking over for Tata Martino. They retooled a lot around the core 4. A lot of those periphery players like Matias Rojas and Diego Gomez gone, sold elsewhere. They brought a new crop of young, exciting players in around them. So they're obviously one of them. I think the biggest, most interesting story is out west. Galaxy won it all last year, but they had to reshuffle. Seattle made big splashes in the offseason going to get Jesus Ferreira from FC Dallas, among other players who have come in. LAFC is still up there and super consistent and now motivated by, for the first time, the Galaxy have stunk ever since LAFC became good for the most part. So this is the first time that LAFC has to respond to the adversity. Oh, our crosstown rivals won something. How do we counter that now? So that's intriguing. I'm looking out west for those teams is a really good storyline. Which of those 3 teams emerges atop the West? I think it's a 3-horse race between the Galaxy, LAFC, and Seattle. And then also just Ohio is a fun story. And your background in Ohio, something for you to focus on. FC Cincinnati, I think is my pick to win it all this year. And
Okay.
sorry to jump the gun if that was one of your upcoming questions. We'll get there
No,
and
it was
dive more
not
into
actually.
it. They're my pick to win it all this year. But Columbus is always right there in class, and that rivalry is fantastic. It's always good when those two teams are both good, and they have been the last couple of years. So that's always a fun one to watch as well.
Definitely, for sure. As someone who I moved when Cincinnati came along into the
Okay.
MLS, so I did not get to experience the rivalry, but I've been told that rivalry is fun to be at. So,
Mhm.
anyways, so it's kind of cool to see like there's more states have like in-state rivalries. I feel like
Yeah.
it's good for the league. It's like I know that LA had like California has 3 teams or 4 teams now.
California, yeah. LAFC, Galaxy, San Jose, and now San Diego.
So I'm like looking at it as like it's good to see that everyone's having like interstate rivalries.
Oh,
Which is,
yeah.
I think it's good for the game. Anyways, it's like almost
The only team for the most part off the top of my head that doesn't really have a natural geographic rival right now, I guess would be Nashville.
you could throw
Um,
Charlotte in there. It's
well,
close.
Charlotte kind of, but like Charlotte's more with Atlanta. They're a lot
Okay.
closer. They're started establishing a rivalry. Nashville's kind of on the periphery of that, but everywhere else, like obviously the Northeast and the Mid Atlantic have all those teams clustered together. Midwest, the Ohio teams, or Chicago, throw Minnesota
Yep.
in there. Even in the mountains, Real Salt Lake and Colorado, great rivalry there. There's a bunch of Texas teams. So the only one who's kind of on a little bit of an island right now is Nashville. But even so, like they've started to forge enough rivals based on just competition. They've become rivals with Inter Miami because of the competitive levels. They're close enough, like you said, to Atlanta and to Charlotte. So to your point, that basically everybody has a rival now, which is fun. It's not like some of this conference realignment where, all right, who's SMU's new rival now in the ACC?
Yeah.
Like everybody in MLS has like a distinct defined rival.
It's when I look at it now because I'm trying to figure out who's in the East, who's in the West. It's like hockey for me. It's like, oh yeah, Detroit's in the East. I always forget about that for me for hockey. Like Chicago's in the West. That's why I looked at it. I remember one time it was like Houston was in the East and like Dallas was in the West. I was like, how does that work? Like, what are we doing here anyway?
Yeah.
So, what's your other big thing you're looking for in the season? Anyways, is there like it's also coming up to the World Cup? How big is that for the U.S.? Because I feel like we've been like hammering. Like we need USA men's soccer to do well. Do you think this will live up to the hype? Is it like an automatic bid since they missed the last time they were in the World Cup?
Yeah, I think it'll live up to it. I mean, coming off that round of 16 loss to the Netherlands in 2022 after missing Russia, like obviously it was important just to get back in 22. But now with the auto bid and the 48-team World Cup and Pochettino as the head coach and all the talent that's there, just getting out of the group won't be enough anymore because now you're getting into, I think, a round of 32 the way it's structured. Just winning the round of 32 and getting to the round of 16 wouldn't be enough because you've been in the round of 16 in previous editions. I think it's quarterfinal or bust. And to your original, how you led into the question as far as other big things in MLS and soccer here, and then dovetailing that to the World Cup, I'm really excited to see how this summer goes. There's Pochettino's on record as saying like he's not going to be a quote unquote Euro snob and only look at players over there. Like if you're playing at MLS really, really well, he rates the league and the players that are playing well. It's a compliment to them. They should be taken seriously and brought in. I'm very curious come Gold Cup time in June. If some of the big guns of MLS are playing really well, will Pochettino hold true to that word that he values MLS and form, being in form? So, for example, Brendan Vasquez was always somebody who was just on the outside looking in for Greg Berhalter. He went to Mexico, did well, now was bought back, big transfer fee to Austin, who, by the way, if you and your potential move out to Texas, Austin, fantastic team to add to your list as maybe team to be a fan of. So Brendan Vasquez, if he starts scoring like crazy, is Pochettino going to hold true to his word and call him in for the Gold Cup? Because this Gold Cup, I don't think, for those of you like in the know and that track religiously, the last couple of Gold Cups, the U.S. has kind of punted on. They've sent the B team, they've sent the C team, haven't really cared. The A team should be there for this Gold Cup because it is Pochettino's only chance at a tournament as a dry run before the World Cup. They have that Nations League thing that happens now in March, but it's just semifinals, final. So there's really not much there. And then next year, obviously, they'll have some friendlies leading up to the World Cup, and that's it. So the Gold Cup is his only dress rehearsal. So he's going to call the A team, and I want to see if he holds true to his word that the guys who are in form in MLS will certainly be in consideration. So that'll be something to watch. These U.S. guys like Brendan Vasquez, you can go down the list. Like, if they're playing well, will they get that Gold Cup call?
They should get the call for
They
the
should.
Gold Cup.
They should.
They really should because I agree that like they need to get. I bitch about USA soccer as much as I bitch about US men's hockey the most next to USA soccer. They both being held up their ground of the game. But USA men's hockey just did like USA men's soccer. Get it together. Like, do we need? I'm saying this now to USA. Don't make me get Bill Guerin, who does hockey, and get to make sure to get everyone over at USA Soccer and organize it. He'll fix it at least. That's been my joke lately. And I don't want to say that out loud to all the soccer snobs out there. So I just want the good players to play and make sure we
That's it. Yeah. If you're informed,
I don't want to be embarrassed.
No, if you're informed, you're informed. Like that was. We can do an hour on this. That's why I take the deep breath. Like the players who are on benches in Europe, a few years ago, you gave them the preference because talent level was better than MLS. MLS night and day talent level from 5 years ago to now. Now MLS is legit talent-wise and competition-wise where, you know what? A guy who's starting in MLS probably is better to call in than a guy who's a backup or getting sparing playing time in Europe. So it'll be really interesting this year to see how that all comes together.
Definitely, for sure. Let's talk about some league business and stuff. Are you happy that MLS Apple thing's now available to everyone now?
Look, the easier it becomes in terms of accessibility, the more people will find it, the more people will subscribe to it, the more people will stick with it, and the more the league can grow. So definitely. I don't think it's ever a bad thing to have it in more places.
For sure. I remember last year, I was like, all right, I don't want to pay for Apple TV, but like I'll do the free preview.
And even like the partnership they have with T-Mobile, where those people get access to MLS on season pass, like they had that 2 years ago, but not last year. And people were bummed that it wasn't there last year, and super happy that it was back this year. So like the appetite is clearly there for the fans. Sometimes you just kind of have to meet them where they are, and I think they're doing a really good job of that this year.
Definitely, for sure. The other thing I've noticed is this is also me. They're talking about merging the USFL and making it all one league. Is that really a thing, or is that a whole fabricated thing, like the lower league thing?
It's out there, but still early on, and nothing more than whispers in the wind right now.
Okay, I just want to know if it's a real thing or not, because it's like, do we need all these other teams?
USL has come out and said they're starting a first division sanction league. How that relates to potential mergers, interplay down the line, don't know. But like I'm again being somebody who calls games for both leagues and wants to see them all thrive. I think it's a good thing. And Paul McDonough, the I forgot his exact title. Forgive me for USL if it's president or what exactly his title is now. But he's basically kind of spearheading all of this. And his quote was something to the effect of like, if you look at Europe, they have 40 plus Division I leagues as a whole. Yeah, sure. England has one, France has one, but and he said we forget sometimes Europe is the United States and the countries are the states, like in terms of land and size, right? Like the US is the size of Europe, and then it's sure they're just countries, we're states, whatever the case is, but like every one of their countries is a first division league. We're not going to get to a point where every single of the 50 states is a first division league, but you see it in MLS, like all the teams or cities that were runners up to San Diego in the expansion bid process, they're not just going to not want to have teams now. So where can they put it? They could put their team in the first division USL league. And then as that grows, maybe down the line, maybe you have some merger, something they figure out, but that's still a long ways away. First things first, just getting the USL first division league up and running.
Definitely sure. Where do you want to see the MLS expand next to, or we're going to halt on expanding next?
They haven't talked much about their plan beyond 30.
Okay.
And now that 30 is here with San Diego, I think we'll start to get more on their plans next. There was already some news today, actually, as we record this, that Don Garber had a meeting of some sort with the group in Indianapolis who wants to bring a team in. So everything had been really quiet on the expansion front up until San Diego was announced and now in. Is it as simple as getting to 32 to be the same as NHL, NFL? Maybe. Is it getting to 40 and then splitting into two 20-team leagues, and that's how you get the promotion, relegation, and that kind of roundabout way? Who knows? Like there's so much possibility now that they've gotten to 30 and it's sustainable, and the players are coming in, the money's coming in to being poured into these teams. Like, it's interesting. I would like to see, I think, more of the map covered. Like I was saying earlier, like Nashville's kind of on an island. Off the top of my head, I don't necessarily know which city is the city you go to next, but I know Phoenix has always wanted a place, and Indy's in the mix right now.
Michigan, like Detroit?
Possibly, yeah. Detroit. I mean, they have a terrific fan base in USL. I'm trying to think who else. Like, if you look to Georgia, right? Like Atlanta obviously has a team, but Georgia is such a hotbed for soccer. Is there anywhere in that general area where you can add another team that I don't really know that there is down there, but like what I mean to say is like in the South, like just generically in the South, like there's a ton of love for it in Alabama, like Birmingham, their USL team when they had Inter Miami in for Open Cup. They pretty much packed out UAB's football stadium. So like there's an appetite for it down there. Alabama especially has a ton of it's quietly a very big soccer hotbed. So can you expand more into the South beyond just having Atlanta? So there's so many options. Milwaukee was, I think, thrown out there at 1.2, looking up that way. So who knows? I mean, they, again, can go any which way. You've already got, you already got New England. We can talk all day about this. Like
Connecticut does not need a team. I'll say that for sure. We're stuck between splitting the Metro Stars. We mean the Red Bull New York and the New York FC, and we have New England Revolution. It's like you have to pick one of those at least.
Yeah, Pittsburgh probably would be a good spot. I mean, you got that you could even talk about because they're geographically close enough to those Midwest teams. It gives Philadelphia another in-state rival, and Pitt is a soccer hotbed too. Pitt is one of the best college soccer programs, and there's a ton in the area. The USL team's always great and sells out. So who knows? Like the sky's the limit. It's a good spot at 30. My guess, with no knowledge of anything, my gut would tell me that they'd like to get to 32 just for that uniformity of what hockey has and the NFL has, and then see from there. And even NBA wants to get to 32 teams now. It seems between Vegas and Seattle, and MLB probably going that route too at some point here in the near future to 32. 32 seems to be the kind of precedent set by NFL as being the number. So I think MLS gets to 32 in the next 5 to 10 years. Beyond that, who knows? Beyond that, again, do they want 40 and then splitting into 2 20-team leagues? Who knows? They could do whatever they want. As long as it's having success, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I could say this. They probably will not go to Tampa again, but it'd be kind of cool if they did. Bring back the Mutiny again. Bring back the Unis. I'll say that.
Get our man Thomas Rongen as a head coach too.
If we could see Thomas Rongen do a final season, a final game for the Mutiny again, that would be true entertainment instead. Give him mic'd up for the day, anyways. All right. Everyone knows that you're in New York or you like all the other sports. What were your thoughts on the Mets when Juan Soto came to town?
I went nuts. My buddy and I did a shot on FaceTime together. So that tells you all you need to know. Like I was literally laying there on the couch waiting I had tweet notifications on for Heyman, for passing. As soon as it came through, I leapt off the couch. I freaked out my wife. My buddy FaceTimed me. We did a shot together on FaceTime, and I have been on cloud 9 ever since. I'm going up to Port St. Lucie this week for spring training, and I can't wait to see him in a Mets uniform with my own 2 eyes. I'm so excited.
I went this past weekend. I will say this. If you have a chance, if you can go see him in West Palm, also a great one as well. It's very close. But that Port St. Lucie, it's worth the hour 15 drive anyways. I went Sunday anyways.
I've not been there since I was a kid, so I've not seen any of the stadium refurbishments. I'm excited to go, and it should be a good time.
Definitely. I was shocked that he was one of the Mets because I thought he would be a Yankee for life. But
I have been on the train, and maybe it was just my delusion. I pulled receipts from texts from 2021, from 2022, where I've been saying since Cohen bought the team, I'm like, Juan Soto will be a Met in 2025. Like I was on that train from the beginning. I felt confident in the offseason that he wanted to be a Met, seeing the fun we were having and the family atmosphere and everything with Lindor. And I still, at the same token, was surprised when it happened. But I'm glad it did.
Definitely, for sure. Were you shocked that he got Brett Beatty a blacked out Chevy?
No, that was awesome. Not shocked. That was awesome. That is.
I thought you at least get him a Porsche, a Macan or something like a.
Well, that's what he wanted. He had found, the report came out that through other teammates on the team, he had stealthily found out what Brett's dream car was, and it was exactly what he got. And it was reported to be $90K plus. For $755 million, I think he can afford a $90K car for Brett Beatty for the number 22. He'll probably make more in number 22 jersey sales in the next 3 weeks than that car costs. So definitely. I think he's all right.
I wonder if he went down to Edmore Chevrolet or one of South Florida Chevy dealers. I know Joe Rhodes would be very happy that he was there. So pretty much NL East or bust, would you say, for the Mets?
I would like to commit to that. But the NL East is too good with the Braves and the Phillies that it kind of like the AL East last year, where if you asked, now it didn't pan out this way because the Blue Jays ended up not being great and the Orioles, actually, the Orioles ended up being great and winning. Did they win the division? No, I'm blanking. Who won? The Yankees won the division last year?
Yankees
Yeah, they
won the
did.
division.
But so going into last year, a lot of the talk on New York radio for the Yankees was, if they get a wild card, it's fine because the Blue Jays were supposed to be great, even though they bottomed out, and the Orioles were supposed to be great. They were, but the Yankees still edged them out. It's kind of the same thing for me for the Mets this year. Like, if you tell me they win 96 games, but the Braves win 99 and the Phillies win 98, sure, I'd buy it. Like, it's anything. Get to 90 wins, make the playoffs, and go from there. It's the NL is so loaded with the Phillies, the Braves, the Dodgers. Like, I can't really tell you much more beyond. It's almost like the AFC playoff wise this year. Like, if you would have said that, or the Ravens didn't have a failure of a season. They just ran into the Bills in the divisional round. Like, and it could have just as easily been the other way around. Like, it's a loaded league. It's a loaded division is what it is. Just make the playoffs and let's have some fun again.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I get your quick jet take. Aaron Glenn, very happy he's head coach.
Ecstatic. He was my guy that I wanted from day one. Former player, Parcells guy, no nonsense guy. I'm excited about it.
Are you happy that Aaron Rodgers is gone? Because he was just my mom's a Jet fan, so I kind of made my choice not wanting to live a little longer being an Eagle fan.
Yeah.
Are you happy?
That's right. Congrats to you, by the way.
I will say this. That was I was shocked. Like, I had no words. I was on my couch. I was like, how?
The blowout was shocking. The blowout.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked by that. And people were asking, like, "Are you happy?" Like, I'm shocked right now. I have no words.
Yeah. No. As far as for Rodgers, like, I wish it would have worked out. I'm fine with the direction they're going now because it's just dollars and cents didn't make sense. It would have cost them an extra $35 million in cap space to have him still, and you can go get a bridge guy like Cousins or use Tyrod or draft the guy now and just reset. Did not make sense, in my opinion, to have that personality and that contract still in the building.
Are you happy? Do you want Shador, Sanders, or Cam Ward? I
love Cam Ward. I think he's going to be stud's the wrong word because, like, there's so many, like, tiers now. Like, stud could mean the Mahomes tier. It could mean, I think Cam Ward ends up in the you put me on the spot here.
I think Joe Burrow territory?
No, because I think Joe Burrow's in that top category with Allen and Mahomes and Lamar.
Jalen Hurts.
I would say, yeah, that's a good. Not that they're the same player in any capacity. He's in that tier. He's probably. I think he could be in that Dak Prescott territory where he's going to have an MVP caliber year, maybe Cam Ward, but then he'll have other solid years and be fine. I think he's that good. I think Shador is Jared Goff, which is not a couple of years ago that would have been an insult. Now I think it's a fair comp, and the idea being accurate, not a crazy arm, but processes the game so well. You put a good team around him, he could take you to a Super Bowl. He could lead you to a top offense. He's in that tier for me, and he has the ability to, I think, ascend past that because he is more athletic than Jared Goff is.
Definitely, for sure. All right, quick Ranger take. I saw them play against the Stars.
Dumpster fire. That's my take. Dumpster fire. What's your question?
Who to blame, anyways? Who you put a blame on? Because I saw people had Drury signs when I was in Dallas.
I blame the Florida Panthers. Okay, I blame the Florida Panthers because there's no reason, injury wise, personnel wise, that the Rangers should be in the hole they're in this year. I don't think Drury made any missteps in building the team. I don't think Laviolette's done anything wrong in coaching the team. I just think they genuinely had their souls snatched from them when they got bullied by the Panthers last year. You sold me your tickets for Game 4. That was the night that it ended. We were up 2-1 in the series after we stole that game. Game 3 in overtime. We had no business winning that game in overtime. We had no business even sending Game 4 to overtime. But had we stolen that game, up 3-1, going back to New York, we're celebrating the Rangers as Stanley Cup champions because the Oilers would not have skated with us.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, lose that game, get bullied the next 2 games, lose in 6, and I think that's it. I think it's just that reset year, similar to the Niners this year, where the Niners had a down year after the Chiefs kind of took their soul in the Super Bowl last year, where I think the Rangers will still be back to being themselves next year. Good core, good nucleus, good foundation. I just think the Panthers took our souls and we never got it back.
I'm going to say this. I produced that game 4. I was so mad, by the way, because I did the morning radio, and people was like, "Are you happy with the Panthers?" I was like, "No, I wanted the Rangers to be up 3-1, so you guys be miserable. That's why."
Yeah.
The Panther fan, like the South Florida sports fan, I'll say this: they've made me hate their teams, honestly, because they don't appreciate them at all.
I will say that about the Heat. The Heat fans have gotten me too. I love Coach Spo.
I can't
always
stand Coach Spo
did.
anyways.
Sorry, I always did growing up from afar in Jersey and stuff, but
Mhm.
the Heat fans have made me dislike that team.
They made me hate basketball again. So like people have asked me, I've entered basketball rehab their time. I'm still in it. People's like, who are you watching? I was like, Houston Rockets. I was watching the Mavs when they had Luka and stuff. Then he got traded.
Nope.
Like, I'm not gonna watch them. And I was like watching the Clippers for a minute. I was like, I can't believe in this team. So I was like, okay, I'll watch the Rockets here and there when I league pass for free. But now it's like, what do I do now? So that's why. So and them losing is making my life a little better because you get to have a slice of humble pie anyway. So
there you go.
That's why. All right, Joe, where can everyone follow you and listen to you and see you all the time? I gotta say.
Yeah, Twitter or X, whatever, at MalfaJ98. At MalfaJ98. You find me there. I will say this actually while I have the floor. People have tried to follow me on Instagram. I appreciate the love and the support. But that, and I've always felt disrespectful when I reject the follow. I was told by somebody when I got into the business, they said, keep one social media at least just for you, your friends, your family, where they can find you and it's intimate. It's just you. That was Instagram for me. So please do not try to follow me on Instagram. If you do and I decline it, sorry, it's nothing personal. But yes, Twitter at MalfaJ98 is my spot. My game this weekend is Charlotte, Atlanta on Fox, 2 p.m. I believe it is this Saturday. And then the weekend of let's see. Let's promote a little more MLS here on Fox and be a company man. The weekend of March 15th and 16th, I have LAFC Austin on Fox at 3:30, and then Philadelphia and Nashville on Sunday at 2:00 on Fox. So a lot of Fox coming up, a lot of Fox MLS coming up here, getting into March. Season's back. I'm happy to be back, and I was happy to be back on the Upper Bowl this week here with you. So don't be a stranger as the year goes along. We got plenty of topics between my crappy New York teams and MLS in what should be a terrific season for the league. So happy to be back. Don't be a stranger. Please have me on again.
Oh, we will definitely have you on. I like to have check-ins with you anyway. So we'll do a check-in in July when the Gold Cup's going on.
There you go. June, don't miss it. June 14th, I think, is the opening day. We'll do a preview. You got me booked. We'll do it June 7th. Book me for the Gold Cup preview.
let me figure that out because it's my birthday the weekday before. So that's why we'll figure it out. Joe, as always, it's always great having you on the pod. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you.